Now you're ready.
Hey guys, what is up?
Hey class. So as promised, I wanted to do a video kind of helping you. Oh, by the way, my son wanted to join us. There he is.
Hi guys.
So as promised, okay, you got to move the creeper for a second. I want to do a video just helping you walk through some of the research tools that you have available to you as you get started on this project. Now, by now, you should have a pretty firm grasp on your discourse community, so I want to take a second to talk about that as well. Are you picking your nose on camera? Don't do that. Okay, so by now, like I said, you should have a pretty firm grasp on discourse community. So all we're talking about, and the reason why we keep using this terminology is because it helps us better. Yeah, be serious for a second. It helps us better understand and better analyze the group that you want to join. Stop picking your nose on camera. And so what I want to do is I want to start to think about your community in a more fluid way than just saying discourse community, right? I want you to be able to understand what that actually means and what that understanding allows you to do. So essentially what we're talking about, and the reason why we do it this way, is because it helps us learn more and learn more efficiently about your community. This whole class is geared around helping you eventually become a better member of the community you want to join. And so by doing the assignments and by doing this kind of research, you'll have kind of 1 foot forward already when it comes to joining this new position, this new job, this new career path, whatever it is that you're doing. All right, chill out with the creeper. And so that's why we're doing discourse community stuff. So if you were worried about like why are we doing this, that's the reason, okay? Now what I want to do is I want to walk through the things that you should be doing now that you're starting to think about Project 2. So essentially what you've done so far in Project 1 is you've identified some major topics or some major issues that are prevalent within your community, and so those are good starting places. You've also identified one article for your community. And again, another good starting place. So what we want to do now is we want to use the article that you found, or if you've decided to pursue one of the major topics, an article that you found about that topic from your community. We're going to use that as our launch text. It's our starting point. We want to be able to find more. We want to be able to find more resources that are dedicated towards that topic, to talking about that topic. And so essentially our goal is to find 8 sources that are all having a conversation about this one particular topic, right? And so, for example, if I was in nursing, and one of the major issues that I was interested in was, we could talk about, the health of nurses in their position, right? The different technologies that are available to nurses now that improve their health throughout the day. So, whether it's new technology to help lift patients in and out or whatever it is. I would find one article talking about that, and then I would look at the works cited page for that article, and I would start to read those. I would use that as a way into this topic, because all of those sources are going to be having a conversation. You're going to be able to put them all together and to see kind of a wider conversation about this topic. So you'll have 8 different people coming at this topic from 8 different places. That is essentially the goal and what we're starting with Project 2. So you're taking either the text that you found for Project 1 or a new text that you found that you want to use as your launch text, and you're using that to start to figure out what people in your community are saying about the topic that you're interested in. Okay, so that's where we're going. Now the goal of this video then is to help you find more resources, to help you figure out what it is you actually do when you do research. So if you've never used a lot...
I'm doing the background.
Yes, I know you're doing the background. So if you've never used... All right, you got to chill out for a second, homie. Okay? Chill. So if you've never used the library resources or whatever, I'm gonna walk you through that now. So if you go to academia and you log in, you'll see this tab up here, WSU Libraries. It's going to bring you to here. Now, I referenced this very quickly in my last video, so I want to spend some time on it for a minute. Now, there's a couple options that you have here. In fact, there's a whole host of options up here. Your best bet is going to be this thing right here, this research guides. Now, what this will do, this will point you to particular valuable resources available, and it filters them based on subject or discipline or whatever it is. Okay? And so let's go ahead and look here. So we'll go research guides first. Now you'll see and this is kind of something I talked about quickly in my last video, that it's grouped by different professions and different fields. So we could go to business or art and history or whatever. So find the one that most closely relates to yours. And so I'm going to go down to mine just because it's one that I'm mostly familiar with. So we go to English. And you can see that what this librarian has done, since she is in charge of this research guide for this field, each research guide will have a different librarian. A librarian will cover multiple ones, but there is a dedicated librarian for that guide. So what this particular librarian has done is she's compiled all of the resources the Wayne State has that relate to this field. So I could search for any of this stuff, right? And so the point of a research guide is to really streamline your research process. And so instead of sifting through everything the Wayne State has, it immediately narrows your search, because now you're only looking at things that are actually relevant to you. Okay, so what I would do is I would come into here. I could look at, let's say I wanted to look up things on folklore. Go ahead and say something. And so what she's done here is she's giving me a list of the resources available that relate to folklore. And so I could come into, for example, the MLA International Bibliography. I could log in. And we could, for example, here, come into our search. You gotta stop.
I'm doing my best for the background.
And you're doing a great job. Okay. So what we do from here is we have to figure out how we want to do our search. Now there's good ways to do searches, there's bad ways to do searches. The most important thing you can remember is that you want to be flexible in the way you search. So what that means is I'm not going to search for something incredibly specific, like what is the folklore for a particular society in 1200, right? Bingo, 0 results, right? Because we're too specific. Okay, so anyway, sorry, I had to reset because he got crazy. So that is what happens when we have 0 results. Now, what we need to do then is we need to be a little bit less specific and more flexible in the way that we're searching. So, for example, if I know I want to do England, I could do England. Let's say instead of just typing in a random arbitrary date, might not be arbitrary, but whatever, you could do and search this. And you can see we're starting to kick back some results because we were flexible. We extrapolated keywords from our topic. And so, for example, to go back to the nursing thing that I talked about earlier, we could do nursing, health, technology, and that'll kick back results related to all 3 of those things, right? And so that's what I'm talking about when I'm saying you need to be flexible and not too specific, right? And so when you're looking at your topic or you're looking at the main article that you found and you're starting to follow those works cited pages, maybe you get to a dead end, you want to find maybe a more contemporary source or whatever to add to the conversation that began with that first launch text, then this is how you would do it. You would come into your research guide, you would go into one of the databases that it points you toward, and you would start to extrapolate keywords out of your topic. And so you do that by thinking of the major topics within that, the major subtopics, right? And so if we're looking at one source about, nursing, health, and how to improve it, one of the things they're talking about is technology, et cetera, and we're starting to extrapolate. And so think about how you can be smart and flexible about your keywords, and that'll help you a lot. Okay, so that is how to use the research guides. And then whatever research guide you go into, the process will be very similar, okay? Now I want to show you something a little bit different. So let's go ahead and move back to academia. Let's go to Wayne State Libraries. The other thing that you might do is if you already know of a particular database that relates to your field, and you will learn these things as you go and as you kind of grow into your major or whatever, you can go right to the databases, find the one that applies to you. Like one that I use all the time for English is Project Muse. So I'd go there, or I could go to JSTOR, which, boom, right there. And each one will have its different strengths and weaknesses. Like, for example, JSTOR isn't as contemporary as it could be. Everything is a couple of years old, right? So you're not getting the cutting edge conversation. Project Muse is also good. It is more contemporary, but maybe not as not inclusive isn't the right word. Maybe not. It doesn't kind of cover the breadth and scope that JSTOR might. Stuff like that. So just learn the strengths and weaknesses, and you will as you go. But also, don't be afraid to vary your approach. So, don't be afraid to go to a variety of different things. All right, the other thing that I wanted to show you, we're going to go back here, do this one more time. If you are at a complete loss and you cannot find a research guide that works for you or that you think is good or whatever, this quick search tool is really good down here. The only difference is this will search all of Wayne State's resources, so it's less filtered, but it will give you something. So we can do our same thing, England, and see what happens. So what you'll notice is this is going to give us everything, not just electronic results. We've got articles over here. You can see instead of the 13 that we found earlier, we have 6,000 to look through. Okay, so we would have to go in here and narrow our searches, etc. But it also gives us books that the library has on their shelves. But it will also point us to databases that might be related to our search, so we could go that way. And so again, it's a really good way if you have no idea of where to start to find out where you should be looking. Okay, and so those are really our main go-tos. And so just to recap, we're going to go do this. So you went to we'll go all the way back. Academia, libraries, you can go to research guides, article databases, or just this quick search, and you will find a lot of stuff. Okay, and so what I want to do is just to kind of remind you of our process. All we're doing is we are taking the launch text that you found in Project 1, or a new launch text if you have one that might be more interesting to you, that might be more closely related to a topic in your field that you're interested in. Okay, you're taking that, you're looking at the works cited page for that article, and you are going to use those to start to build up your Cornell notes. Now remember, when we're talking about Cornell notes, we're talking about a summary of the source. We're talking about the major things that stand out to you, right, on the one column. Then on the other column, just some sort of system that you can use, whether it's keywords, and again, those are good keywords to use when you come in here to do these searches, or some sort of like little quick tidbit that helps you look at that and know what the source is about, because you will need to use these for our future projects. So the idea is do good notes now, and you will have infinitely less work to do when it comes to our later essays. Okay, so that's why we're doing it. In a lot of your upper level classes, this is a process that you should be using for your work anyway. It's not something that says scaffold. So for example, when I'm writing a paper or something that I want to publish for an article or whatever, this is how I do it. I have an idea, I do my research, I follow the works cited pages of the things that I'm looking at to build a nice, what's called a lit review, so I can show the current literature around that topic. And then I have my notes set up just like I want you guys to set up your notes, because when it comes time to write the thing, it's really easy to go to my research and know, okay, I want to plug this in here, plug this in here, plug this in here, and you end up writing a much better paper. And so this whole project, it might seem weird to be doing kind of like a note-taking project. It's all about building best practices. So now that Project 1 taught you to think about your community in a particular way by breaking it down and analyzing it, Project 2 is going to teach you to think about research in a particular way by breaking it down and analyzing it. Projects 3 and 4 will ask you to put those things into good use, and you will start to do some writing in kind of more earnest. So that's where we're going. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful. Sorry my son wanted to bomb it, but I hope you don't mind him popping in. He gets very excited when I have to do these, and he always asks to help out. And so again, I hope he wasn't too distracting. I'm working on the grading. You'll have that back soon. Remember, on Friday I'll be uploading another video about rough draft stuff, just as a quick guide. I'll also be sending out emails and stuff like that. But yeah, do keep me posted. Let me know where you're at, and I will talk to you guys later.